know that few filmmakers have managed to redefine cinema like Quentin Tarantino? Love him or loathe him, Tarantino has become a cultural touchstone, celebrated for his razor-sharp dialogue, genre-blending narratives, and an encyclopedic knowledge of film history that is as influential as it is polarizing. From the non-linear brilliance of Pulp Fiction to the visceral intensity of Inglourious Basterds and the stylized revenge of Kill Bill, his work has continuously challenged conventions and reshaped how we view violence, storytelling, and pop culture. But before you grab your favorite beverage and jump right in, a real quick ask that if you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, please take a second to hit that subscribe button now. It's one small click for you, but a huge deal for us. Thanks. Now, let's prepare for a journey through the mind and movies of Quentin Tarantino. Number 1. The Rise of a Cinephile. Quentin Tarantino's journey to becoming one of cinema's most influential auteurs began not in a film school, but in the aisles of a video rental store. Born in Knoxville, Tennessee, and later making his way to Manhattan Beach, California, Tarantino's early immersion in film came from a relentless passion for movies, watching, absorbing, and internalizing every genre, every style, and every nuance. This unconventional education in film history allowed Tarantino to develop a taste that was both refined and fearless. Rather than adhering to conventional wisdom taught in film schools, he learned from the raw, unfiltered world of movies themselves, observing the gritty, underappreciated gems alongside the Hollywood blockbusters. It's no surprise then that his early work, such as Reservoir Dogs in 1992, burst onto the scene with a blend of sharp dialogue, non-linear storytelling, and a bold, unapologetic vision that felt completely original. Tarantino's background as a cinephile is not just a footnote, it's the cornerstone of his creative identity. His influences are vast, from spaghetti westerns and kung fu flicks to blaxploitation movies and European art films, and he weaves these threads into a tapestry that's uniquely his own. His approach is one of relentless homage, where every line of dialogue, every camera angle, and every reference is a nod to the films that came before, yet reassembled into something startlingly new. It's this early passion, this unquenchable thirst for cinematic knowledge that has allowed Tarantino to challenge the norms of storytelling. Without the constraints of formal education, he built his style on intuition and raw inspiration, a style that would eventually redefine modern filmmaking. In understanding Tarantino's roots, we begin to see how his films are less about inventing entirely new ideas and more about reimagining and elevating what already exists. This is the essence of an auteur, a director whose personal vision transforms familiar elements into groundbreaking art. Number 2. Masterful dialogue and non-linear narrative. When you watch a Tarantino film, you're not just watching a story unfold, you're listening to a symphony of dialogue.
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite?
Tarantino's scripts are legendary for their authenticity and idiosyncrasies. His conversations don't always follow a strict logical path. Instead, they meander like real-life discussions, full of humor, tension, and unexpected insights. It's this conversational style that makes films like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs resonate so deeply with audiences. Tarantino defies the traditional three-act structure by embracing a non-linear narrative. In Pulp Fiction, for instance, the story unfolds in a series of interconnected vignettes that defy chronological order. This fragmented approach forces viewers to actively piece together the narrative puzzle, engaging them on a level that few mainstream films achieve. It's not just storytelling, it's storytelling as an intellectual game, one that rewards repeated viewings and careful analysis. Moreover, Tarantino's dialogue is imbued with a raw, visceral quality that makes even mundane conversations riveting. Consider the iconic discussions about fast food in Pulp Fiction, or the banter among criminals in Reservoir Dogs. These exchanges, while seemingly trivial, reveal profound truths about the characters, their motivations, and the world they inhabit. The words flow like jazz, improvisational yet meticulously crafted, each line packed with subtext and cultural references. What sets Tarantino apart is his refusal to sanitize language or simplify complex ideas for mass appeal. His characters speak in a way that is unapologetically real, gritty, spontaneous, and sometimes shockingly profane. This authenticity is a double-edged sword, though, drawing both admiration and criticism. But it undeniably establishes a connection with audiences who crave films that feel unfiltered and genuine. In essence, Tarantino's mastery of dialogue and narrative structure is a defining feature of his auteur signature. His ability to craft conversations that are both entertaining and revelatory is what turns his films into cinematic experiences that are as intellectually stimulating as they are emotionally engaging. It's this artful blend of dialogue and nonlinear storytelling that has cemented his reputation as one of the most influential screenwriters in modern cinema. Number 3. Genre-blending and cinematic homage. If there's one thing that defines a Tarantino film, it's his unparalleled ability to blend genres and pay homage to the entire history of cinema. Tarantino's work is a pastiche, a vibrant collage of influences that span everything from spaghetti westerns and Hong Kong martial arts films to blaxploitation, film noir, and beyond. He takes familiar cinematic tropes and twists them into something entirely unexpected, creating a unique viewing experience that is both nostalgic and somehow innovative. Take Kill Bill, for instance. On the surface, it appears as a straightforward revenge saga. However, it's interwoven with elements of samurai cinema, martial arts epics, and even Italian giallo, resulting in a film that feels like a cinematic buffet of styles. Tarantino doesn't merely borrow from these genres, he reinterprets them, infusing his own sensibilities and a keen sense of humor that challenges conventional storytelling. This intertextual approach is evident throughout his oeuvre. Inglourious Basterds reimagines World War II with a bold, revisionist twist, while Django Unchained pays homage to classic spaghetti westerns while confronting America's dark past. Even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is steeped in the nostalgia of late 60s Hollywood, a bittersweet love letter to an era that's both celebrated and critiqued. Tarantino's films are packed with cinematic references that not only enrich the narrative, but also serve as a guidepost for cinephiles. His allusions to other films and genres are not just a copy-paste job, they're carefully curated nods to his influences. Every time a character launches into a lengthy monologue or a seemingly offhand remark, it's a deliberate reference that invites the audience to delve deeper into the world of cinema. This genre blending and homage serve a dual purpose. On one hand, they celebrate the rich tapestry of film history, reminding us that no movie exists in a vacuum. On the other hand, they challenge the audience to think critically about the conventions of the genre and to appreciate the artistry behind subversion. Tarantino's approach transforms his films into a living museum of cinematic art, one where every scene is a tribute to the movies that came before. Ultimately, this fearless melding of genres and the constant barrage of references are what make Tarantino's work so engaging. He doesn't simply recreate cinematic history, he reinvents it, inviting viewers on a journey that is as intellectually stimulating as it is visually and emotionally arresting. Number 4. Stylized Violence. Beauty, brutality, and emotional charge. Quentin Tarantino's films are synonymous with stylized violence, a hallmark that is as controversial as it is iconic. While some critics dismiss his on-screen brutality as gratuitous, there is an undeniable artistry to the way Tarantino choreographs and frames violence. In his films, every blood-splattered confrontation, every brutal fight scene is meticulously designed to serve a narrative purpose and to evoke an emotional response. Unlike the cold, mechanical violence of some modern blockbusters, Tarantino's approach is visceral and raw. The violence in Reservoir Dogs, for example, is as shocking as it is strangely poetic. The infamous ear-cutting scene is not just about the gore, it's a moment that reveals the dark underbelly of loyalty, betrayal, and the dehumanizing nature of crime. Similarly, in Pulp Fiction, violent outbursts punctuate long, meandering dialogues, creating a jarring yet compelling contrast that forces the viewer to confront the brutal reality behind the cool, seemingly effortless conversation. Tarantino's films demonstrate that violence can be both a form of storytelling and a work of art. Critics argue that Tarantino's infatuation with violence sometimes overshadows his narrative, but it's important to note that in his hands, brutality is never an end in itself. It is a means of exposing the raw, unvarnished truth of his characters' worlds, a world where beauty and brutality coexist in a delicate but unforgettable balance. Tarantino's stylized violence is integral to his storytelling, reflecting the chaos and unpredictability of life, while also serving as a metaphor for the dark, underlying currents that drive his characters' actions. Ultimately, whether you view it as excessive or as an essential part of his cinematic language, Tarantino's violence remains one of the most compelling aspects of his work. It is a visceral, unforgettable force that, when combined with his brilliant dialogue and narrative ingenuity, creates an experience that is as emotionally charged as it is visually stunning. Number 5. Breathing life into iconic characters and masterful casting. One of Tarantino's most enduring strengths is his ability to create and cast unforgettable characters. His films are populated with personalities that leap off the screen, characters who are as flawed as they are magnetic, who blur the line between hero and villain, and who have become cultural icons in their own right. From the cool, enigmatic hitman Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction to the unhinged yet strangely relatable Mr. Orange in Reservoir Dogs, Tarantino's characters are meticulously crafted through his sharp dialogue and keen sense of character psychology. Every line is loaded with subtext, every quip is a window into that character's soul, and every monologue is a carefully honed performance that reveals deeper truths about their inner world. Tarantino's casting choices have also been a masterstroke. He has an uncanny ability to assemble ensembles of A-list talent who elevate his material to new heights. Whether it's Samuel L. Jackson's electrifying presence, Uma Thurman's transformative portrayal in Kill Bill, or Leonardo DiCaprio's brooding intensity in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Each actor seems to embody their role with a unique blend of authenticity and larger-than-life flair. Moreover, Tarantino's characters often feel more like mythic archetypes than conventional movie roles. His protagonists and antagonists are defined by their idiosyncrasies, the cool detachment of a gangster, the unrestrained brutality of a hitman, or the moral ambiguity of a revolutionary. This blend of vivid characterization and masterful casting creates a world where every interaction is charged with tension, and every conversation is a study in human behavior. Perhaps what sets Tarantino apart is his willingness to let his characters defy expectations. They're unpredictable, sometimes contradictory, but always fascinating. In his films, even the most peripheral characters are given memorable moments that linger in your mind long after the credits roll. Number 6. Cultural impact and the legacy of Tarantino. Beyond the box office numbers and critical accolades, Quentin Tarantino's true impact lies in the indelible mark he's left on pop culture and modern cinema. His films have influenced a generation of filmmakers and also reshaped the language of cinema itself. Tarantino's work has become a reference point, a benchmark for stylistic innovation and narrative daring that continues to inspire and provoke debate. His unique blend of genre-bending storytelling, sharp dialogue, and unabashed violence has redefined what audiences expect from a film. Tarantino's references to obscure B-movies, his intricate layering of homages, and his willingness to challenge the status quo have all contributed to a cinematic legacy that transcends the traditional boundaries of genre. His films have sparked countless discussions, spawned memes, and even influenced fashion and music, cementing his status as a cultural icon. Tarantino's influence extends well beyond his own filmography. Directors like Christopher Nolan, David Fincher, and the Coen brothers have all cited him as an inspiration, proof that his audacious, unapologetic approach to filmmaking has resonated throughout the industry. Tarantino has also reshaped the way we talk about film, introducing a new vocabulary for references and stylistic choices that has become part of a modern cinematic lexicon. Yet, with all the praise, Tarantino's legacy is not without controversy. Critics argue that his reliance on violent imagery and provocative dialogue sometimes verges on self-indulgence. Still, even these debates only serve to underscore his importance. Tarantino is not a director who plays it safe. He's an artist who revels in risk, and his films force us to confront both the beauty and the brutality of modern society. In many ways, Tarantino's work is a mirror reflecting the evolution of film over the past few decades. He challenges us to re-examine what we value in a movie, from its narrative structure to its character dynamics. And in doing so, he leaves an indelible mark on the way stories are told. Whether you're a die-hard fan or a reluctant critic, there's no denying that Quentin Tarantino's influence on cinema is as vast and enduring as the films he creates. Number 7. Controversies and the auteur question. Is Tarantino a genius? No discussion of Quentin Tarantino would be complete without addressing the controversies and debates that have dogged his career. Often hailed as a cinematic genius, Tarantino's work is also the subject of fierce criticism. Some argue that he rehashes familiar tropes, indulges in excessive violence, and sometimes relies too heavily on nostalgia and pop culture references. Critics have labeled his films as self-indulgent, while others argue that his work is a vital, if provocative, commentary on the state of modern cinema. One of the key criticisms of Tarantino's films is that they sometimes lack a coherent, evolving narrative. His penchant for nonlinear storytelling and episodic structure can make his movies feel disjointed to those who prefer a more traditional linear approach. Moreover, his tendency to incorporate long monologues and meticulous dialogue has led some to accuse him of padding his films rather than advancing the plot. Yet, despite these controversies, Tarantino's fans remain fiercely loyal. The debates over his use of violence, the repetitive nature of his themes, and the ethical implications of his dialogue only add layers to the conversation around his work. His unapologetic approach, refusing to conform to mainstream expectations, has cemented his status as an auteur who dares to challenge the cinematic status quo. Critics of Tarantino argue that his films are a product of his own idiosyncratic vision, sometimes too rooted in his personal taste to resonate universally. But some might argue that that is the mark of a true auteur. Tarantino's unapologetic style, his encyclopedic knowledge of film history, and his willingness to push boundaries have not only redefined the slasher and crime genres, but also inspired countless filmmakers to take risks and tell stories in their own unique voices. Quentin Tarantino's career is a roller coaster of brilliance, controversy, and relentless innovation, a journey that has redefined modern cinema and left an indelible mark on pop culture. From his humble beginnings at a video rental store to becoming one of the most influential directors in Hollywood, Tarantino has never shied away from taking risks or challenging convention. His films, whether hailed as masterpieces or dismissed as self-indulgent, are a testament to his unapologetic vision and his profound love for the art of filmmaking. But hey, that's just our opinion. What do you think? Will Tarantino's legacy continue to inspire future generations, or will his penchant for controversy overshadow his cinematic triumphs? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's most fascinating auteurs. This video is made by movie fans, for movie fans.